everyone, can you guys believe that we are practically through the month of October and we're moving on to November and December? Here we are in October and it's fall, y'all, like for real. What does this time of the year look like for you? I feel like this time of the year is time to close things out, but it's also time to get ready to start the new year, right? So it's like that transition period of out with the old and in with the new. You've all heard the sayings, new year, new me, whatever the case may be. With it being this time of the year, I think it's important that there's some things that we actually consider. Like I just told you, it is fall, and after fall comes winter. And there's 3 big holidays during this time that we don't need to forget about, which is Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. I think that it's important that we budget for these items. So candy, costumes, decorations. What are you cooking for Thanksgiving? Y'all know turkeys are about to be super expensive this time, so go ahead and budget your Thanksgiving meal, or if you're gonna do any traveling, make sure you include that. And Christmas comes once a year, so let's make sure we're budgeting for gifts, we're budgeting for food, we're budgeting for travel, we're doing everything necessary to make sure that this holiday season we do not go broke and we go into 2023 abundantly well. And don't worry if you haven't budgeted for any of this stuff or you haven't even started thinking about it. The fortunate thing is there's still time. There's still time to budget for Halloween candy. There's still time for costumes, to plan your meal out or what you're gonna do for Thanksgiving and Christmas. So again, it's not too late. Just make sure you're planning these things out. And I've talked about budgeting and sinking funds in other videos that I'll include so you can go and look at those. But me personally, I have a sinking fund for this stuff, so there's no surprises. And then we just use that as needed. And I'm already thinking about Christmas gifts and all that stuff. So don't forget to include that stuff in your budget. Y'all, during this time, you might also want to reflect on the previous 9 months of the year. Did things go right? Did things go wrong? Are there areas we need to improve on? Did you set any goals at the beginning of 2022? Have you done a check to see where you are on meeting those goals? For me personally, I want to sustain. I'm happy with everything that's been going on thus far, and I just want to keep it running like a smooth oil machine. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think sometimes we get so focused on accomplishing our goals that we actually forget to just sustain and maintain where we're at. Sometimes that is okay. You don't always have to be chasing the next thing. It's okay to just be in the moment and enjoy where you're at and be happy with your current state. I would definitely use this time though just to reflect on the previous months of the year, see where I'm at, take notes, almost do like a self-assessment and go from there as far as how do I want to spend the final few months of 2022 going into 2023. And again, there's nothing wrong with staying where you're at, but if you want to add to your goals, you want to read an extra book, you want to run an extra mile, go ahead and do that. No one's stopping you. With that being said, and now that we've done our reflection on 2022, we also need to be looking into 2023. What does that look like? How will 2023 be different than 2022? Are we setting new goals? Are we keeping goals in place that we've already achieved and again we want to sustain? Are we working out more? Are we traveling more? Are we going to have a career change? Let's start thinking about what 2023 is going to look like for us. I know some people do vision boards. I've never done a vision board. Maybe I'll try it one day. I think it's important just to start getting in the planning process. And this doesn't all have to be done at one time. You can start it out and continue to plan over time. I think sometimes we get so focused on getting our goals out there that we forget to go back and refine them based off the current situation that we're in. Just start making a rough draft plan, and then as you get closer to 2023 and even into 2023, be prepared to go back and make changes and refinements as needed. And if you have any questions about setting goals or you don't know where to start, I did make another video about that. But just make sure your goals are specific, they're measurable, they're attainable, they're realistic. They are realistic. I think that's the problem with some vision boards is that we put things on there that don't necessarily apply to us or they're unattainable. But finally, also make sure that the goal is time-based. So you give yourself a period of time to get it done in. And then you also have to make a plan for that goal. Something else to think about going into 2023, y'all know that I love personal finance, right? So make sure that you have an idea of what your finances are gonna look like for 2023. Holidays come once a year, so your New Year's Day, Mother's Day, Easter, Father's Day, 4th of July, Halloween, Easter, Christmas, that time that we're in now, It's all going to be repeated next year. Birthdays come once a year. So go ahead and put that stuff in mind so that when it comes up, it's not a surprise. But then also think about what can you do to save money? Renegotiate your insurance rate, negotiate your cell phone rate, look and see where you can cut costs, pay off a debt, increase your savings. Again, just things to think about going into the new year, because we want to take a holistic approach and be able to look at our personal, financial, emotional relationships and everything going into 2023. Y'all, I know that I'm going to get some negative feedback on this one, but an area that's very important to look at as we close out 2022 and we are now going into 2023, look at the relationships in our lives, right? I said it before in another video. I said, you're the sum of your 5 closest people around you. So everyone's not meant to come on every journey. And I think a lot of times we get wrapped up or caught up in trying to bring everyone with us. And I'm not just talking like your personal relationships, I'm talking about your professional relationships too. Like sometimes you just got to do your job and leave. Your coworkers are not necessarily your friend. I know there are instances where some coworkers do become friends. I have had that happen to me. But at the end of the day, you're there to do a job to make a living. Start looking at your relationships. If you have a relationship that is mentally draining you, maybe it's time to let it go. If you have a relationship where you're constantly giving, and you're not getting anything back, maybe it's time to let it go. If there's a relationship that you don't want to deal with it, you don't answer the phone calls, you don't reply to the text, let it go. Like, I think we have forced ourselves to be in positions with people that we don't want to be in those positions with because we don't want to hurt feelings. But at the end of the day, I think you're doing more harm by holding on to that instead of just being honest and letting it go. And also, let's talk about work, right? A lot of us are in toxic relationships at work. Some of us can't stand to go to work. Some of us are getting sick, physically sick, thinking about having to go to work or when we go to work, or mentally ill from being at work. And mental health is very important, right? Are you in a position that you're able to walk away? This is why I harp on emergency funds. Some people call it FU funds. Just having something 3 to 6 months of your expenses set to the side. So if you have to leave a toxic work situation, or get this, you have to leave a toxic relationship in your life, you're able to do so. And that should buy you enough time to get into another position. But evaluate that. Evaluate your relationships. Evaluate your work life. Evaluate where you are. And does it make you glow? Does it excite you? Are you fired up when you're thinking about it? Or are you drained and you're sick and you're just tired of dealing with it? What is that feeling you get? You may ask yourself, why do I need to evaluate my year? Why do I even need to go back and look at it? It was so bad, I don't even want to know what happened. I just want to move forward. Well, how will you know where you're at if you didn't know where you started from? Go back and look at it. If you have no idea where to start when it comes to evaluating your year, I would recommend that you write down what went well, what went wrong, what were your areas of challenges, what were your areas of success? Were there any goals that you wanted to accomplish and you were not able to? Did you accomplish all your goals? Like, make a list, grab you a sheet of paper or the notes section on your phone and write it out. And that's where you can start from. And I guarantee you, as you start looking back over the year, you're gonna add to it and the list is gonna grow. And then you know what, I didn't like that, but this is how I'm going to improve it. Or you know what, this actually worked really well, so let's keep doing it. And that's how you begin to evaluate your year. Here we are closing out our year. Make sure you include upcoming holidays. You look at your finances going into 2023, make the adjustments that you need. You check on your goals, see if there's anything else you want to accomplish, or maybe there's some things you want to go back and relook at. You take a look at those relationships in your life, both personal and professional. And if anything's not leading to a better you, maybe it's time to let that relationship go. And then let's start looking forward going into 2023. Again, what will that look like for you? Just make realistic goals. And if you have any questions or any concerns when it comes to setting goals or planning for the future, go back and look at some of my previous videos.